jab up and down. And then when you go downstairs, take that downstairs, come up with the left hook. It's gonna be open, because it's gonna fall down into it. Anytime you jab down low, just keep trying to come over the top.
Or like you could say, hey, you know what? I can't beat that Mayweather style. I was too young, but look, I did it now against Crawford.
I forget Mayweather a long time ago. This is different for me, you know? I lost that day and that's it. I learned a lot.
So who do you like in Canelo versus Crawford? Well, I'm a giant Crawford fan because I think he's the best switch hitter since Marvin Hagler. I also think Canelo is slowing down, and Canelo is more of a one-punch fighter now than the combination fighter he was when he was younger.
Canelo Alvarez has reacted with intensity after discovering that Terence Crawford had been sparring with Floyd Mayweather during training. For Canelo, this isn't just a routine preparation tactic, it feels like a direct provocation. He now views the situation as personal, accusing Crawford of constantly disrespecting him both inside and outside the ring. Canelo believes Crawford's actions are meant to diminish his legacy, making him appear weak or past his prime. With emotions rising, Canelo has made it clear, this upcoming clash won't just be another business transaction, it's now a matter of pride.
Tell me a little bit about that. Did things get a little bit personal now?
Yeah, a little bit more personal because, you know, I did respect him. I don't respect him anymore because he say, I'm not gonna do what they want me to do and this and that. And then he tried to, maybe Turki Al-Rashid told him, hey, you need to do something because you seem so nervous in Riyadh. So and he tried to like walk me back, and that's why I pushed him. And you know, like I say, don't fuck with me.
Terence Crawford has publicly dismissed the idea that Canelo Alvarez's resume is as impressive as it appears on paper. According to Crawford, many of the elite names on Canelo's record were no longer in their prime by the time he fought them. He specifically highlights fighters like Shane Mosley, Miguel Cotto, and Sergey Kovalev, all of whom he believes were past their peak. Crawford also points to the one active legend Canelo faced, Floyd Mayweather, who outclassed him completely. In his eyes, these details discredit the notion of Canelo being above him in boxing stature. He also feels that Canelo has repeatedly downplayed his own achievements, aiming to cast doubt on Crawford's credibility by ignoring the level of competition he's faced.
Things about Canelo's resume, but I won't. You know, I wanna, you know, pay homage to the fighters that he fought, and if he don't wanna pay homage to the fighters I fought, if he think they nobodies, then come fight time, then I wonder what they're gonna say after I beat him.
Eddie Hearn, one of the most influential promoters in boxing, acknowledges the size advantage Canelo holds but insists that Terence Crawford should not be counted out. Hearn points to Crawford's laser focus and unshakable confidence as major weapons that could level the playing field. He argues that belief and mental strength often play just as important a role as physical attributes in determining the outcome of a fight. With Crawford's discipline, experience, and strategic thinking, Hearn believes an upset is a real possibility. Crawford's control of tempo, range, and rhythm could very well neutralize Canelo's natural size advantage.
Not for him, like not against him, sorry, for him. Like he's so, I think he has no doubt that he beats Canelo Alvarez. Of course. I really like Terence. I think he's a great fighter. But I have to say, like, tell me his major significant wins.
Well, obviously aerospace.
Yeah, but
right.
come on.
Like, no, but he beat a guy who was in the top 5 pound for pound, and he destroyed him. That really never happened.
I agree.
History.
I agree. I mean, he was coming off, you know, some eye problems. But
nobody was saying that when he was beating.
But we're giving that credit.
And Ugas.
Tell me more.
I'm just saying.
I don't know.
That's a big win. Now,
keep going.
Your guy from the UK who he stopped him. What, in the 5th round was it? Kell Brook.
Finished by it. Yeah. Go on, keep going.
Okay, he stopped somebody that nobody's ever really can hurt.
Well,
Sean Porter.
I mean, yeah, but that was about 8 years before, and Errol Spence.
That wasn't. What do you mean?
Yeah, when he beat Sean Porter.
No, that was in 2023.
Who?
Terence Crawford beat Sean Porter.
No, I'm talking about Kell Brook against Sean Porter.
No, I was talking about Bud. I'm not talking about that. But he stopped him. Nobody's ever able to really hurt Sean.
By the way, I'm not disagreeing with you. I'm just
That was a great win.
Like
And he didn't have a lot of names at 140, but Postal and all those guys, those are good fighters. They weren't big names. Just like Bam, he doesn't have the great. He doesn't have a whole lot of great names. Just like Inoue. Yeah, he does have two great fighters.
By the way, he's one of my favorite
doesn't
fighters.
have a bunch of.
John Ryder, who's personally faced Canelo in the ring, shares valuable insights on what it's like to confront the Mexican star. He admits that Canelo's sheer physicality is overwhelming and that the jump in weight would be a major challenge for someone like Crawford. However, Ryder also emphasizes that Crawford is no ordinary fighter. He praises Crawford's unique ability to adapt, change tactics mid-fight, and handle pressure. In Ryder's opinion, if there's anyone with the mental and technical tools to navigate such a massive challenge, it's Terence Crawford.
Can he go up 2 divisions? A lot of people in his camp believe that he's even going to stop him, but yeah, what's your thought?
If there's any man that could do it, it would be Terence Crawford, but I just think the sheer size of Canelo is going to be too much on the line.
But do you think size will be too much? I mean, you were in there with Canelo, you landed good shots and he took them, right?
Yeah, I mean, listen, Terence Crawford is an exceptional talent, but I think the size will be the factor on the night and it'd just be too big, too strong.
Terence Crawford has carefully mapped out his potential approach to beating Canelo, revealing a dual strategy. One method involves applying relentless pressure, breaking Canelo's rhythm, and flooding him with volume. The other involves taking a calculated, tactical route similar to Floyd Mayweather's strategy, emphasizing slick movement, counters, and elusive footwork. While Crawford knows he doesn't share Mayweather's physical advantages from back then, he trusts his own sharp timing and rapid adjustments. He sees himself as a hybrid fighter able to blend aggression with finesse, and that versatility, he believes, might be the secret to unlocking victory.
It's 2 things that you can do with somebody bigger and stronger. You know, you can either try to push them back, you know, because 9 times out of 10, a strong fighter not used to going back, you know, so it kind of fucks them up in the head, you know.
Yeah.
Or you can just box them because some of them just slower than others because they got flat feet, and they just looking to load up on certain shots.
Now, Crawford's definitely right here. There's 2 ways to beat a pressure fighter like Canelo. Either you put the pressure back on him, which is where guys like Triple G and Bivol had success, or you use your superior skills and footwork on the outside, which is how Floyd Mayweather won. Now, Crawford, he can't use the pressure approach because he's not as physically dominant as guys like Golovkin or Bivol. You know, Bud is a welterweight or junior middleweight jumping up. He doesn't have the size to push Canelo back. Now, the outside boxing approach, that is definitely Crawford's best chance against Canelo. You know, he is right, Canelo does struggle to cut off the ring at times. We saw that in the Skull fight. And he does load up on single shots now. But at the same time, Crawford is not the same pure boxer that Floyd Mayweather was. You know, Mayweather rarely got hit in that shell. And his form of countering, you know, a pull counter, for example, was, I'm not going to get touched and then I'll make you pay. Whereas Crawford's style of counterpunching is different. Bud will take one to throw 2 or 3 back, and he can't do that against Canelo because of the size and power difference. If Bud takes a clean right hand to throw back an uppercut or a hook, he's either going to get dropped or he's going to end up on his bike like Jermell Charlo. So while I do agree Crawford does have the superior skill set in this fight, but because he doesn't have the size to push Canelo back, or the defense of someone like Mayweather is say perfect for 12 rounds on the outside, I do think Canelo's size and power will make the difference in this fight, and that's why I like Canelo to win.
Joe Rogan offers his take on the fight, echoing the growing sentiment in the boxing world that this matchup is much closer than many think. He notes that while Canelo remains an elite competitor, there are signs of decline, particularly in his speed and endurance. On the other hand, Crawford appears to be entering his peak, dominating across weight divisions with surgical precision. Rogan believes that the timing might favor Crawford, whose current form positions him as one of the best fighters in the sport today. He views this bout as razor close and full of unpredictable possibilities.
Canelo versus Crawford. Well, I'm a giant Crawford fan because I think he's the best switch hitter since Marvin Hagler. I also think Canelo is slowing down, and Canelo is more of a one-punch fighter now than the combination fighter he was when he was younger.
Do you think Terence Crawford can beat Canelo Alvarez?
Yeah, I think he can win.
Okay.
I don't know if he's going to win, but I think he can win. He's going to have to box a brilliant fight.
If Ray Leonard could beat Marvelous Marvin Hagler, then Terence Crawford can beat Canelo Alvarez. Why do you say that? Same equation. Get in, get out. Get in, get out.
Yeah.
Over and over and over. He's got to figure the angles and the approaches that will allow him to step in, Land to the body or occasionally upstairs and then get out.
Veteran commentator Jim Lampley places the upcoming clash within a broader context. For him, this isn't just a battle between two fighters, it's a collision of pride, legacy, and willpower. While the physical size gap is clear, Lampley insists that both Canelo and Crawford are defined by far more than height and reach. They're warriors in every sense, each driven by a relentless desire to be remembered as the best. In Lampley's view, this fight is less about stats and more about character, and neither man is willing to retreat.
Crawford is going to fight Canelo because even if I have some doubts and misgivings about the size matchup, it is two action fighters who like to fight aggressively at times, not all the times, going against each other, and we'll see who can open the other person's tuna can, so to speak.
Max Kellerman doesn't hesitate to rank Terence Crawford as the current pound-for-pound king. While he acknowledges Canelo's past accomplishments, he believes those days are largely behind him. Kellerman points out that Crawford's recent performances have been flawless, demonstrating mastery over every opponent regardless of weight. In contrast, Canelo has looked more vulnerable in recent outings, especially against Dimitri Bivol and even John Ryder. For Kellerman, this fight is about timing, and right now, all signs favor Crawford.
Who's the best pound-for-pound fighter in the world? Bud Crawford. Apologies to the monster and Usyk. Bud Crawford has my vote for best pound-for-pound. Who was the best pound-for-pound before Bud? Canelo Alvarez, universally recognized that way. But it's not just these two guys, the last two best pound-for-pound fighters.
Respected trainer and analyst Teddy Atlas gives a more layered perspective. While he admires Canelo's skill and discipline, he reserves a special kind of praise for Crawford, calling him special, a word he uses only for fighters with exceptional ring intelligence and instincts. Atlas emphasizes Crawford's ability to adapt in real time, stay composed under pressure, and end fights with ruthless precision. Though Canelo is undoubtedly great, Atlas believes Crawford might exist in that rare class of fighters who transcend greatness.
Maybe he's a little overrated. Terence Crawford versus Canelo Alvarez at 168 pounds.
Canelo's really good, really good. But I think Crawford is special. I know he hasn't fought the resume everyone wants, but you have that or you don't have that ingredient. I think he has it. Canelo's really good. He's tremendous. But could he be a tiny bit overrated? The greatness is within Crawford. It's in his desire, it's in his mind, it's in his makeup, where he came from. I know he's moving up in weight class, can he carry it? But those intangibles, I believe that he had.
Daniel Jacobs, who has shared the ring with Canelo and watched Crawford up close, compares their styles from a technical lens. He notes that both are fast, but that Crawford's speed is uniquely explosive, unpredictable, and difficult to time. Jacobs also points to Crawford's ability to switch stances and deliver punches from odd angles as a serious threat. After evaluating their skill sets and tendencies, Jacobs admits that if he were forced to choose, he would lean toward Crawford due to his timing, sharpness, and overall ring intelligence.
But I had at least over 15 years of knowing him, amateur, professional. I've seen where he started. I've seen how he's gotten better over time, but I also just know what resides in him. He's a dog, he's a beast, and he's out to prove something too. So I'm excited about this fight. Canelo obviously is self-explanatory. There's really no need to go down the rabbit hole when it comes to him. But I do see this being as a 50-50 fight. But if I was a betting man, I would bet on Crawford. But also, too, you can't count Canelo out. I mean, would go in, I'm assuming, as the favorite, which is rightfully so.
A lot of people say that version that you fought was probably the best Canelo Alvarez. And since then, obviously, naturally, he's slightly declined. Yeah. Do you see this decline that people talk about?
Well, I can see in increments because Canelo, which I've always said is an amazing, legendary fighter, but he fights in spurts. So sometimes it takes for the opponent to actually initialize him giving the best. When he was faced with me, the opposition that I had and what I was giving him, it was just a lot. Whether it was boxing, whether it was coming forward, but most importantly, it was the punches and bunches. And so he was forced to either stand there, wait for the right time, or be combative and go back at it. So I think that's what Crawford may have to do. Push the pressure, make Canelo fight, or maybe just play it safe, win on points, you know.
Brian Bomac McIntyre, the longtime coach behind Crawford's success, is brimming with confidence. He believes that with time on their side, Crawford only gets stronger physically, mentally, and emotionally. McIntyre reveals that every facet of their training camp has been designed with Canelo in mind, from diet and strength conditioning to detailed film study. He insists that they're not just preparing for a fight, they're preparing for a legacy moment.
A different approach in terms of crafting a plan and going into camp?
No, not really. You know, we know the type of fighter Canelo is. So, as a fighter, you mentally prepare for things like that. And then as a trainer, just making sure he's sharp. His mental game is sharp, his physical game is sharp. Strength-wise, nutrition is everything. Got to, like I said, hitting on all cylinders. So by the time you step in that ring, it's easy picking.
Jaron Boutsenis, an emerging force in the sport, offers a cautious but respectful take. He fully recognizes Crawford's elite skill but remains realistic about the physical challenge ahead. Ennis highlights that if Crawford fails to make Canelo respect his power early, the fight could start leaning in Canelo's direction. He emphasizes that while technique matters, physical damage must eventually be dealt, and that's tougher for the naturally smaller man to deliver against a strong and experienced opponent like Canelo.
You gotta lean more towards Canelo, because like I said before, he been pitting big guys out and down, and Canelo not even really a 68 pounder. He probably really should be at 60 maybe, and he been hurting these guys. I think he be dropping these guys and things like that. So, and them guys be way bigger than him come fight night. I know that for sure. They be probably close to 200 pounds, and he dropping those guys like that. So, I don't know. It's gonna be a great fight. The fans want to see it. So, so be it. I think Crawford should take a warm-up fight. At like 60, or like at least at 60, just to get his body, to feeling of somebody a little bit bigger, and things like that. I know when you go up in weight, you gotta, develop that power and not develop the power, but like put that muscle on and be heavier and things like that. So he might not want to take a fight because he's trying to build up right now, but I think he should, just to stay sharp and that way he don't have like a long layoff or anything like that.
Alexander Usyk, who knows what it's like to overcome size disadvantages, believes this is a fair matchup despite the physical gap. He sees Crawford as the best pound-for-pound fighter right now. Roy Jones Jr. also weighs in, saying that the entire fight depends on Crawford's mindset and execution. If Crawford arrives fully focused with a flawless plan, Roy believes he can outclass Canelo. However, if there's even a slight drop in sharpness, Canelo's power and experience could take over. For Roy, the fight comes down to execution under immense pressure.
Boxing fans, joined by, does he need any introduction, Hall of Fame legend Roy Jones Jr. here in the UK. There's a few questions about the US guys. Obviously, Tank and Lamont Roach, we saw the first fight, Lamont Roach shot the world. What do you think happens in a rematch if they fight?
I think he shocks the world again, but the only thing different this time is Tank will come with a different attitude, different personality, different motivation, and I think Roach will do good again, but I think Tank will be more dominant this time.
And obviously we know if Canelo wins against William Skull, he will fight Terence Crawford in September. Who would you favour in that fight?
It's a hard one to call, and I'm going to tell you why it's a hard one to call. It's a hard one to call because it'll all be predicated upon how Canelo approaches the fight. If Canelo approaches the fight like he's the man and he can box and outbox Terence Crawford, he'll get beat. If he comes out and shows that he really wants to go out and prove whether he's still the best, he might win. So it all depends on which Canelo comes to the.
Brian Norman adds another dimension to the conversation: public perception. He explains that if Canelo defeats Crawford, critics may downplay the victory due to the perceived size gap. But if Crawford pulls off the win, it will be remembered as one of the greatest accomplishments in modern boxing. This matchup, in Norman's eyes, isn't just about titles or rankings, it's about writing history. The winner won't just hold belts, he'll claim the title of generational icon.
Canelo's experience over time, right? Even though Terence is the older fighter, he has, I think, 20 less fights than Canelo does, or maybe more. I think more than 20. And also, you know, competition level. This will be the most skilled, most experienced, biggest, strongest fighter that Terence Crawford's ever faced, without a question.
I love you both, but you still did not answer the question. How do you see this fight ending?
I told you.
Don't say with your hands.
I'm going.
Knockout.
I'm going.
Knock him out the ring.
Listen.
Jack's trying to get that one-liner. He's trying to get that go viral moment from Bud, but he's just not that guy, right? And I think he's what he's about to say is like he's not going to go in there and be like, I'm going to knock him out, I'm going to do it in the first round. And plus, I wouldn't want to hear that, right? As much as that sounds nice as a soundbite, I wouldn't want to hear that because I don't think he believes it, and I don't believe it. I want to hear what Bud actually believes, which is, yeah, that he'll win, but not like this mystic Mac, let me predict the round, here's why, unless he truly believes that, and I don't think Bud does. I think he believes he'll get it done by any means necessary, whether that's, let's say, he was able to knock Canelo out or he gets it done by decision. It doesn't really matter because a fight is a fight at the end of the day, and all he needs to do is win.
Always in my mind doesn't exist a loss, you know. I train, I put my best, I dedicate myself to this sport, and I'm just thinking about.
Despite recent losses or close calls, many fans still view Canelo through the lens of his dominant prime. But as the sport evolves, so does its narrative. Crawford has exposed some of the weaker areas in Canelo's record and is forcing fans to re-examine what those past wins truly mean. Depending on how the fight unfolds, this bout could dramatically shift public perception and potentially redefine legacies.
You heard about what Canelo said about Terence Crawford's resume already and how he has no elite fighters on his resume. And say what you want about that, you know, agree to disagree or whatever. What do you guys think of Crawford saying this about Canelo? Canelo fought great champions, but most were past their prime. But when they weren't, you saw what happened. Lara, Mayweather, and Bivol. Obviously, Mayweather was past his prime already, I'd say. But he's right. I rewatched the Lara fight, and, you know, that Cuban style is just tricky to deal with. And, you know, a lot of people would say that Lara won that fight. And then Bivol, it was, I mean, I don't need to convince you about that. That fight was a clear-cut victory for Bivol. And it just showed that Canelo isn't this unbeatable person. You know, with the right set of skills, you can beat him. And I don't know, what do you guys think? Has Terence Crawford fought any elite boxers? You could say, you know, Errol Spence, but then, you know, after the whole horrible accident that he had, so.
That wraps up today's analysis. Stay locked in for more updates and reactions as this potential megafight continues to heat up. Until next time.